BMT are delighted to be celebrating International Women's Day. We truly recognise that gender bias and inequality is a global challenge, and at BMT we choose to challenge. We promote equality of opportunity through our inclusive culture and practices that encourage our employees to grow, develop and know they are equal. Please take a look at our employees' personal stories of where they have chosen to challenge gender bias and inequality.
The instance that stands out the most was over 10 years ago when I first converted from full-time to part-time at BMT after returning from my first stint of maternity leave. At that time, there were no other professionals in my office working part-time, and general opinion seemed to be that it would be challenging, if not impossible, to make a success of consulting part-time. I distinctly remember one colleague saying to me, "Nobody wants a part-time consultant," implying that our clients would not want to work with someone who's not at their beck and call every day. I'm pleased to say that while it wasn't easy, I'm still part-time and have made a success of it. We also now have many staff, regardless of gender, who are part-time. In my experience, it actually reflects very well on BMT with our clients. At the first project meeting I have with a new client, I make a point of letting them know that I try to take Fridays off to spend time with my children. Overwhelmingly, their response is, "Wow, BMT must be a great place to work," and they wish they had Fridays off too.
At this stage in my life though, I'm very comfortable challenging inequalities, although this has definitely become easier with both age and experience. I now have the confidence to directly raise an issue with an individual or an organisation.
I would feel very comfortable about that. My parents have raised me to be independent and to speak up, so I've had a long time practicing that, and that is a good thing. And I'll do the same with my children as well.
So, since most bias is unconscious, I think of it as educational. The situation didn't likely arise out of malice. It came about because of a lack of awareness. So it's important to say something. It's important to set the story straight and to make the other person aware that what they're doing has some unconscious bias associated with it. Personally, I like to address situations like that with a little bit of humor, but definitely addressing it is the important part.
I believe that if I did need to challenge gender bias and equality, I would engage in a conversation with those involved. However, I would make sure I had all the facts before me before I did that. I think you can only have an effective conversation if you can have a rational discussion and provide evidence that gender bias and equality have been in play, but also provides options on how to resolve the situation.
The biggest thing that resonated with me was how to articulate myself with increased confidence, less doubt, and without apologizing. And I think in a challenge situation, those are very important notes and very important features to bring out in yourself.
Being involved in the Technical Women's Forum in BMT has been hugely positive. I always felt that when I was challenging gender bias, that I was alone in voicing the issues and that it was just me. The Technical Women's Forum has shown me that I'm definitely not alone and that every woman in the group has faced those biases or those inequalities throughout their career.
The Consulting Women program really had a big impact on me. It's made me a lot more confident to challenge and speak up. It made me more aware of diversity and differences, and it made me realise that every contact counts, and every time there's a meeting, there's an opportunity to make a difference. So I really like that idea to take every single step, every time you meet a client, every time you meet other teams.
The Consulting Women program was fantastic for raising my awareness of my unique personal strengths and the values that these have to both the organisation and my colleagues. Recognising these strengths is a critical step to growing the confidence to challenge.
So I think as an organisation we have got a number of things, both globally and locally. Two of the things that come to mind for me are the training that we provide for recruiting, where we introduce and to many people the concept of unconscious bias. And then we've got the other one that comes to mind straight away is the Women in Consulting course that we've got. We've seen a number of people on that course, and we have a couple of people that are actually starting in March. And I've been talking to them over the years as they've been doing that, and they've been finding that very helpful to give them tools, giving them a bit more confidence in how they interact.
The DNI Forum, so Diversity and Inclusivity Forum, it was something we set up about 2 years ago to try and create a focus on DNI issues and bring them together and set programs in place to make a difference.
We have had feedback from females who have done interviews with us where they've come in to do an interview for an engineering role, and they have found their interview panel consisting entirely of female leaders in an engineering field. And we've had some really positive feedback. So we're living it, we're demonstrating it, we're applying it. When we have males on the interviews, they're very much focused on interviewing for capability.
But the overall benefit of greater diversity isn't just a moral or sort of ethical benefit to the business, which is absolutely important. It also brings greater diversity of thought to the business, and greater diversity of thought helps us to be more innovative in our way of thinking, to be more challenging. As a managing director, I do take that responsibility. It's very important, and so I am the senior sponsor within this part of the business for diversity and inclusivity. I tend and play an active role in the forum we've set up to drive forward those programs within the business, but also encourage my other leaders to take a similar approach.